Hi guys, we're on live again today. Happy Tuesday night in this rain. How bad is it, this rain? It's shocking tonight. I'm just going to wait to see who's online here tonight. Before we start, thank you for coming. So we're going to start. We'll see who's online. I hope everyone's keeping nice and warm. This rain is really crazy. Really crazy. Hi Doreen, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. And we've got Sam. Hi Sam. And Kaza. Got a few people that's joining. Wait a couple of minutes. And we got Deb and Carmen. Thank you for joining. We've got Andrew. Got a few of you guys on tonight. That's good. And Lisa. Gee, this weather is so crazy. Hi Katerina and Helen. We've got a few people joining. Hi Andrew. We're getting there. And Kevin's joined. Wait a few more minutes and we'll get it all started. That's good. Hope everyone's sitting down and the heater's on and nice and warm. It is shocking outside. Really crazy. We've got Margaret and Brendan. We're almost ready to start, guys. We got some great questions again tonight, like we did last week. Completely different topics, which is great, which is really good. Now, don't forget, guys, for those that get cut off or you can't hear me, unfortunately, sometimes we have a bad connection. Always remember that you can go back at the end of this, because this will be live on my news feed. So it'll always be there for you, so you can always join on that as well. So you can always see that a bit later on tonight or even tomorrow. So it's always there. We've got a few people on tonight. That's excellent. We had almost 1,000 views last Tuesday night, guys. That is fantastic. Really good work. So I hope, you know, if the point of all this for me, if I can encourage and help and support only one person, it is so worth it. So thank you for all those people that have supported me and, you know, being on and you don't have to log in either, you know, just the views alone. Like I said, we almost hit 1,000 views last week. So that was fantastic. So thank you very, very much. It's good. Really good. Okay, we're almost ready to go, guys. One more minute and I'm going to kick off. Fantastic. Now, always remember, like I mentioned last week, that I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm just, you know, your normal person that, yeah, I lost 67 kilos and I can only answer through my own experiences and as a personal trainer. So if there's any medical questions, I will refer you to your doctor. So please keep that in mind. It is really important. But thank you. Okay, we're almost ready to go. A few more people are joining up, guys. We'll go one more minute and we'll kick off. We're going to start off with Sandy from Chicago. She was our second last one that was for last week. I need to mention Sandy because she's got a great question. I think a lot of people can relate to this, and I think you'll benefit. So it is really a good question. So Sandy, I hope you're on here tonight. But Sandy from Chicago, I received your email a few weeks ago with your question. Fantastic question. I can relate to this because we've got a few members here at the club with the same issue, but we always do find a way to work around it. But Sandy's question is, I have had knee surgery only 7 weeks ago. I'm walking with crutches and I'm gaining weight very fast. as I can't exercise, Karen, what do you recommend? Great question. Look, my honest opinion and how I work with my members, there is always a way that you can find an alternative to exercise. Now, you know, you've had knee surgery, and I understand that. Obviously, you're walking with crutches, like you mentioned. But look, you've always got to remember that, you know, your arms are still working. You can sit on a chair and you can still do some exercise. What I do for two of my members, they've had knee surgery as well. And what I do is I have two chairs beside each other. One of them, I get them to sit down very comfortably. And the other one, I have their, you know, their little equipment. For an example, elastics, hand weights, medicine ball, and they work their upper body. You know, to me, that you always can find a way. There's, you know, there's no excuses. And that's like if you had surgery on your elbow, you've broken your arm and you're in rehab. The thing is, you can still find alternative. We had a member that actually broke her wrist, and after 2 weeks after her surgery, she actually came back to the club, and she started walking on the treadmill. She started using a lot of, you know, her lower workouts where, you know, her legs were fine and one of her arms were fine, but she did find a way. And the thing is, you know, you don't need to worry about losing weight during this time of rehab, I call it. You know, the most important thing is maintaining your weight. I mean, you can, and you most likely might lose a few kilos, but the thing is, if you eat right, and if you're doing the exercise what you can, you know, the most important thing is maintaining your weight, not so much losing weight. You know, that'll come. Get yourself better. You know, you're doing your rehab, you're slowly working your way up step by step, and believe me, you will get there. But there's no excuses, hun. If you've done surgery on your knees, on your legs or whatever, you do exercise upper, vice versa. You know, no excuses. So, you know, and like I mentioned, don't aim to lose those kilos, aim to maintain during this period. So that's really important. So thank you, Sandy from Chicago. Fantastic question. Really good question. I have Mia from Perth. Hi, Mia. I hope you're on, and thank you so much for your question. What we've got here tonight with Mia's question is a very, very good one. I think a lot of people, again, can relate to this one. It's a great question. Now, how many eggs per week can I have? I'm eating between 3 or 4 per day. Good question. Now, Mia, to me, this one is a little bit of a doctor's question. I do, like I said, I'm not a doctor. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because because I don't know you, and if you are a person that has high cholesterol, now you need to understand that eggs are fantastic. They are so good for you. They are really, really good, especially the egg whites. They are better than obviously the yolk. Now you got to remember there's high fat in yolk and there is cholesterol in yolk. So if I give you the advice, yep, you know, 3 or 4 eggs a day is good, and you've got high cholesterol, you're only adding fire to the fume to the fire. So I can't do that. So the thing is, because I don't know the history properly about you and your medical condition concerning, you know, if you have got cholesterol or even heart disease, you know, it can cause, you know, medical problems. But I do recommend, you know, that you might ask your doctor this question. But always remember, guys, that in a hard-boiled egg, a large one, there's between 70 to 100 calories in one egg. So if you're eating like 3 or 4 per day, that's 300 to 400 calories of intake you're taking in. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, because eggs are very good. But, you know, I even recommend, and I was having a chat with Shane about it actually this morning. We were talking about it. Omega-3 eggs is so much better. So if you can afford to buy the expensive, you know, the better low fat in eggs, go for it. Because they haven't got as much fat as the normal eggs in the yolk. But always remember, guys, if you're having 2 to 3 eggs a day, you know, I would just maybe go every second day and maybe replace the second day with egg whites instead of the yolk. So, you know, mix and match it. But like I said, guys, for those that have got high cholesterol and, you know, heart disease or things like that, I do recommend that you speak to your doctor about it. But like I said, you know, egg whites are much better, and the omega-3 eggs are, you know, obviously the best ones that you can have. But great question, Mia. That is a really good one. You know, I do know a few people that do have 3 to 4 eggs a week, but they've got no heart disease, they've got no cholesterol, and you know, they're happy to do that, and it works for them, and that's great. Me personally, I might have, say, 3 eggs per week. I'm not a great, massive fan of eggs, but, you know, 3 to 4 a week for me is more than enough. I'm content with that. So thank you very much, Mia from Perth. I hope you're on and answered your question. Thank you. Can people relate to that? We got Lily, egg whites are great. The yolk is the issue. That's right. Unfortunately, sometimes they are high in, it's high in calories and high in cholesterol. So yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I will refer you once again to your doctor. So if you, yeah, if you really want to really get down to the fine grit of that question, please, guys, if you are one that has got cholesterol or heart disease, please ask your doctor. But thank you. Thank you, Mia, for that question. We've got Lisa from New Zealand. New Zealander, how are you, Lisa? Hope you're on here tonight. Thank you. Okay, great question. I think everyone's going to relate to this. Okay. Is it true, Karen, that we shouldn't eat carbohydrates after 3 o'clock? Great question. Now, this question. Now, this is a 50-50 question, guys. 50-50 answer. Okay, you do find a lot of people, a lot of personal trainers, a lot of dietitians, you know, that answer that question saying, yeah, you can. And then you have other dietitians and other trainers that really, you know, that write meal plans to their clients with definitely no carbohydrates after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So they believe in the big no-no of no carbs after 3 o'clock. Okay, my opinion, what I recommend. Now, the thing is, I ate carbs after 3 o'clock. I always have. I did that during my journey, and I still lost 67 kilos, guys. But the thing is, I still eat carbs now. But even back then when I was on my journey, I really limited my carbohydrates. I'm not giving you permission to go and have a big, massive bowl of pasta at 7 o'clock and then sit down and watch TV, and within an hour or two you go to bed. Obviously, you got to remember, which is really important, that the last thing you take in, guys, is going to store. So especially if it is carbohydrates. So, you know, the last thing you eat will store because you're not moving around. What I used to do, and I still pretty much do it, if I'm having a bowl of pasta, now my bowl of pasta is my cereal bowl. I'm not one to overeat. I introduce salad with that, so I don't have a great big bowl of pasta anymore. I haven't had that for 17 years. So I would have a little one and add salad to it. I'm always the type that dishes out by 6 o'clock. Jason and I and the boys, we do have dinner around about 6. Come daylight savings, we always had the habit of having dinner, cleaning the kitchen, preparing things for the next day, lunches and so forth, and we always went for a walk at about 7:30. So I knew, even though I was eating carbohydrates at night, I was still walking it off. I wasn't the type to kind of like eat and sit down in front of the TV. So, you know, carbohydrates are really important. I do believe that you got to eat carbs, especially, you know, once you're training and things like that, you need an energy boost. But, you know, I hope, Lisa, I've answered your question. I have eaten and always have eaten carbohydrates after 3. I mean, the thing is, you hear these little rumours of you can't eat this and you can't have that and you can have this and you can't have that after 3. But at the end of the day, you can, because I tried to train myself, and I still train myself, that I want it to be a lifestyle change. I didn't want it to be a diet. So in the reality of life, I want to eat pasta. I want to eat breads. You know, that is the reality of life. Yeah, you got to limit it and be careful what time of the night you're having it. And, you know, you can't have a bowl of pasta at 8 o'clock at night, go and have a shower and go to bed sort of thing. Obviously, that is going to store. I'm not saying that you ain't going to burn it off, because you will. Obviously, you will. But you got to remember that when you're on a journey, the less fat intake and calorie intake you take, the less you got to burn. You want your workout to burn off what you've already got on you, instead of adding more to it. So the adding that you're putting in, you want to be able to make sure that it is, you know, clean food and it's not fatty foods and things like that. So always remember, you know, to limit your carbs. You can have them, but limit your carbs, and especially at night time. So if you can have your bowl of pasta or whatever you would like at, you know, at 6 o'clock, absolutely. But maybe do something at home afterwards. You know, maybe put a DVD on and do an exercise video, or even do, I know this sounds crazy, but 2 bus stops and 2 nut bush. Mate, that burns a few calories, and believe me, you'll be burning that, you know, that pasta. You're moving, so it's all good. Very good. And another thing, Lily is actually saying that you can eat carbs on the day that you go to the gym, which is fantastic. Absolutely. So that's another good one too, Lily. That's a really good point. So, Lisa, thank you for your question. But yeah, absolutely. Eat carbs. And, you know, I don't want people out there to, you know, to really not eat everything, because that's not the reality of it. That's not a lifestyle change, guys, because in the reality of life, you are going to eat breads and you are going to eat pasta regardless. So, you know, it is really important. So thank you, Lisa from New Zealand. I hope that answered your question. Thank you. Okay, we have got Marie from Queensland. Hi, Marie. I hope you're on here tonight. Andrew, I lost nearly 10 kilos just by cutting down on food at dinner time. Absolutely, Andrew. Fantastic. I'm not usually one that eats. That is fantastic, Andrew. See, cutting back. Yep, lost 10 kilos. That's awesome. Jesus, best to eat. Okay, I'll answer that one in a minute. What cheeses are best to eat? Okay, we got Marie from Queensland. And Marie's question is, what are your thoughts on meal replacement shakes? I have between 3 and 5 per week, either for dinner or for lunch. What are your thoughts, Karen? Well, Marie, this is another good question, and a lot of people can probably relate to this. And there's so many people out there that do use meal replacements as meal replacements. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never, ever had them myself. I'm the type of person that always cooked. And I honestly believe that, you know, my opinion is I don't believe they're a reality of way of living and eating. Sooner or later, you will go back to food. I mean, can you see yourself having meal replacements in 6 months from now? In 1 year from now? You know, for me personally, no. So I never relied on them. I prefer to cook a meal for myself and the whole family. If, for an example, I was running late, sorry, my computer is going out of control. If I was, you know, running late for breakfast, or, you know, and I'm talking about since I've opened up the club, Sometimes I'm very limited for time for dinner or whatever. I might do a breakfast shake, and I'll have that, but I have never used food replacement. I prefer to have a protein bar that will get me over the line until I can, you know, and until it's dinner time, instead of having a meal replacement. I don't want to fill myself up with, you know, a shake. I mean, yeah, some of them and most of them have got, you know, the right vitamins and, you know, the carbs in them and all that sort of stuff. But the thing is, I really honestly believe that there's nothing better than spending 5 minutes, make a smoothie full of fruits and yogurts and things like that. At least it's something, you know, that you're doing the reality way of living, of eating, instead of just a meal replacement. So, you know, like I said, I do honestly prefer, like I said, a protein bar to get me over the line, instead of a meal replacement, you know, shake. So, you know, a few people, what do you guys think? What are your opinion, guys? Who's on these shakes? What are your thoughts on them? It's so true. I don't want to eat as much to get it off. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A few people are saying that, you know, they don't believe in them, and yes, they do. You know, you got to sometimes see what works for you. But what I recommend is, guys, spend that 5 minutes making breakfast or, you know, prepare a lunch instead of just you know, a shake, because a meal replacement, because you're not teaching yourself how to cook, how to prepare, you know, and is it reality? And to me, that isn't the reality way of a lifestyle change. So that's my opinion. I hope I have helped you. Marie from Queensland. Thank you. Okay, we have Ange from Melbourne. Hi, Ange. I hope you're on here tonight. Your question is, should you have something to eat before a workout? And if so, what do you recommend? Fantastic question. I do recommend that you do. Obviously, food is your fuel. You need fuel to perform to your best ability when you're doing a workout. So that is very, very important. But you got to remember too that when we're saying food before a workout, if you're having your main meal, I do recommend that you have your main meal at least 2 to 3 hours before your workout. Now, the reason for that is otherwise you're going to get uncomfortable, you're going to feel yucky in the stomach, you might get, you know, heartburn, or just feeling really yucky while you're doing your workout. So if you're having a big, you know, your big meal, you know, it's got carbohydrates in it and even fiber, and there's, you know, and fat, they take longer to digest. So you're going to be carrying it inside you for a lot longer. But if you wanted a snack, at least have it at least 1 hour before. Okay, so a snack is different. You're not overindulging your stomach and not feeling so bloated when you're coming to do a workout. Now, Angela's asking me what do I recommend you should eat. Okay, now with that, for a full meal, okay, the 2 to 3 hours before, you can have your normal dinner, whatever you would like, okay, or you can have even, you know, baked beans on toast, so or a white roll with, you know, low-fat cheese and cold meats in it and a banana. That'll give you energy to get through. Okay, you can even have your pasta or rice. Okay, now don't forget what I'm mentioning is the 3 to 4 hours before. Okay, sorry, the 2 to 3 hours before your workout. So yeah, so you're having a really good meal. But an hour before, what can we eat an hour before a workout? Okay, you can have a protein bar. You can have a protein shake. You can have tuna and salad. I've written them all down so I don't want to forget. You can have a fruit smoothie or a yogurt smoothie. You can have energy bars and even a bowl of cereal with a little bit of skinny milk an hour before, because you know that they're light. You're going to digest that and you're not going to feel so bloated. And don't forget, you need energy, guys. You need energy to perform. You know, when people don't have nothing to eat for at least, 3 to 4 hours before, some people can even actually pass out on the floor. So it's very important to make sure that you do have something to eat. But like I said, remember, if it's your full meal, you have it at least 2 to 3 hours before. Allow the food to digest, okay? And you can still have a snack an hour before your workout. So there you go, Ange. I hope that answered your question. Thank you. Great question. This is what works for me. Lily, great. That's good. Very good. Hi, Christy. Yeah, good one. Especially if you're a diabetic. Great point, Doreen. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you are a diabetic, you got to have something to eat. Very important. Okay? Before I work out or either. Is it good not to eat? Okay. We've got Robin from the Salvation Army. I know Robin very well. I went and did a big, massive conference talk for the Salvation Army. There was hundreds of people there. So Robin was the organizer. So hi, Robin. I hope you're on tonight. Hope you're all well there. I've got to come down and have a visit, I think. It was lovely last time. Your question is, what sort of protein would you have with breakfast? Okay. Now, obviously, most of us know what protein are. I'm just going to ramble just a few things on top of my head just to give you a bit of an idea. Protein, we've got meats, we've got fish, we've got salmon, low-fat cheese, yogurts, eggs, more in the egg whites. Okay, you got your nuts, your seeds, your lentils, and soya milk and low-fat milk. So there's just some of the protein, okay, foods that I'm just talking on top of my head. We got Tama online. Hello, Tama. Okay, for breakfast protein, these are just a few ideas, guys. But you got Special K cereal, which is very high in protein, which is fantastic. I love Special K. And I also love the next one, which is Uncle Toby Plus, Protein Plus. It is fantastic. It is so high in protein and it keeps you going for at least 3 hours before you start feeling a little bit hungry. So, this is where sometimes if I'm having a bowl of the Protein Plus, I have to admit, I actually struggle to have my morning tea, whether it's an apple or a small yogurt, but that's how good these two cereals are. And don't forget, you can add, a little bit of fruit on your cereal as well. Okay, you can have eggs with low-fat cheese wraps, so you can have little tiny wraps for breakfast. That's all protein. You can even add salmon into that. You can have yogurt, Greek yogurt and fruit cut up. You can make oats with either water, or you can use soya milk or even skinny milk. Skinny milk has got great protein also. You can have a smoothie with milk, yogurt and fruit. That's all protein. Rye bread with 2 poached eggs, which is a really good one. This was actually what Shane and I were talking about it this morning, and he mentioned it. He absolutely loves that. Okay, and you can have egg white omelets. So don't forget your omelets. You can add in salmon, you can add cheese, you can add tomato. You can add so much into an omelet, whether you're going to have it, with the yolk or not. But don't forget, egg white omelets are absolutely beautiful, guys. So Robin, that's so much protein there that you can have in a one meal of your breakfast. So, and believe me, protein is so good for you guys. It makes you feel full. So is obviously fiber. But, you know, the question is all about protein. But, yeah, so look into it and, you know, have a think about it. Because protein does get you from A to C sometimes. You miss the B, meaning, you know, morning tea, even though it's very important, but it's very filling, so, and it's very good for you. And energy, wow, it is great. So thank you, Robin from the Salvation Army. I want to say hello to all of you out there with from the Salvos. You're fantastic. And always remember, guys, you're doing an amazing job for all those people. I remember doing, Jason and I went on a Wednesday with the Salvation Army, and I sheltered all the homeless people. It cost them $1 for them to eat lunch. And I wanted to be able to shout all the homeless people their lunch for that day, and it was the most rewarding thing I have ever done in my entire life. Honestly, it was the best thing. And seeing the Salvation Army work their magic with you know, people that are so much worse than, you know, us guys, it is the most rewarding thing. And I gave them enough money to last them for the 2 weeks, the 2 Wednesdays. So it was fantastic. So Robin, mwah, great job, guys. Keep going what you're doing, guys, the Salvos. Here's to the Salvos. We've got Lee from Melbourne. This is a great question. Is green tea good to lose weight? And if so, how many should I drink per day? Okay. Well, is green tea good for you? Well, I'm going to answer your question right now, guys. This is what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking my green tea. There it is there. I love green tea. Green tea is definitely known to increase fat burning, so it is very good, and it also works as a mild detox. So, you know, for weight loss, it is great. It is really good, but you got to remember too that it's not just great for just weight loss. It's got so much different, you know, you can benefit drinking green tea in a lot of ways, Sorry. You know, it's got the benefits of a calmer, so it actually calms you down. So people that, you know, struggle with anxiety or depression, it can help you. So like I said, it is a calmer. It's great for people with high blood pressure, so it does reduce it, okay? And type 2 diabetes also, it's very good to help. For bacteria, it lowers the risk of infections, so it's great for that as well. And for, you know, when you're overeating and you feel really, you know, bloated and a little bit uncomfortable, it helps with that also. So, you know, green tea is great. How much do I recommend you should drink per day? I do recommend about 2 to 3 cups per day. You got to remember, guys, that green tea has got caffeine in it, but the caffeine in green tea is nowhere near as high as caffeine in coffee. 2 different levels, okay? So, yeah, it has got caffeine, but nowhere near as coffee. So keep that in mind. So if you feel like a coffee, maybe have a green tea instead, because you're going to benefit a lot more than, you know, coffee being so high, unless you're drinking decaf. But you can actually buy green tea that is decaf. So for people that don't want any, you know, caffeine, you can buy the green tea, yeah, decaf. So, you know, like I mentioned, I do recommend 2 to 3 cups per day because it has got caffeine in it. But it is fantastic. You know, there's so many different benefits that you can get from green tea. I absolutely love it, especially, you know, a cuppa before I go to bed, you know, just going over the day with Jason and just having that at home, winding down in my pajamas with a green tea. You actually feel that you're coming down. It just relaxes you. And Helen just put a good post up. Love green tea with lemon. Absolutely. You can get all types of green tea, guys. There's so many. There's actually... Oh, green tea with grapefruit and pineapple flavour, which is also really nice. I really enjoyed this one. But most of the time, I just have normal green tea. But sometimes if I feel like a bit of a kick, I might have one that's a little bit flavoured. But the one with lemon is very good. Very good. We got Frida from Malta. Hello, Frida. How are you? Thank you for joining us, Frida. So, another thing too, guys, while we're talking about tea, we had a discussion yesterday with a few members, and Shane was in the room also, and peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is fantastic if you're bloated or, you know, excuse a little bit my French, but if you've got gas and, you know, you've got a sore stomach and you've got discomfort and, you know, you're just feeling really yucky in the stomach, peppermint tea works better than green tea if you're aiming for that area. If you're, you know, bloated or, like I mentioned, you got gas and, you know, you're feeling, you know, indigestion, really strong indigestion, peppermint tea is the way to go, guys. It really is. So, you know, have a play around, have a look around, you know, what's going to work for you. But look, they're both great teas and they work in you know, different areas. So thank you, Lee from Melbourne. Thank you. Great question. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can, you know, relate to that and wanted to know a few answers out of that one as well, Lee. So thank you. We've got Christy from Melbourne. Okay. Christy from Melbourne. Great question. I love this one. How long should you work out for? 30 minutes or 40 minutes? Okay. How long should we work out for? 30 minutes or 40 minutes? My answer to that is, first of all, Christy, is everybody's fitness level is different. Now, I'm going to tell you what I believe and what I recommend. If you're a beginner and you're on, you know, you're a beginner and you're starting off at the gym, the first thing you've got to remember, hold on, let me just take a couple of steps back. My mind's going 10 miles an hour here. Regardless if you're a beginner or advanced or wherever you may be with your fitness level, you always got to remember that you got to need to take 5 minutes as a warm up and a 5-minute down cooling period. Okay, so as a personal trainer, I give my personal trainer, my PTs, all my clients, 45-minute session. But out of that 45 minutes, guys, they got 5 minutes of warm-up and 5 minutes of cooling down period. So realistically, they're actually working out for about 35 minutes. And there's, you know, couple of minutes of breaks, you know, as they go and get their water. So let's just say we got 30 minutes of high intensity PT training. Okay, so when I'm going to tell you, you know, I recommend 45 minutes to 60 minutes to an hour, you know, 45 minutes to an hour. That's including your warm up and cooling down time. So take away 10 minutes of that. Now, the thing is, you know, there's so many different ways of training. If you are, like I said, if you're a beginner, like I'm starting off with a lady, which I cannot wait. It's so exciting. She's in her early 60s or maybe 60. She hasn't exercised for like 20 years. So my first PT with her is teaching her how to walk. So that's going to take, you know, 35 minutes of just plain walking. We're going to warm up first. We're going to cool down at the end. And you got your 35 minutes of walking. Okay. So, you know, that's fantastic. That is really good. But I do also recommend, if you are one that is very advanced in exercise, you can actually, and if you're doing a different kind of like exercise regime, because like I said, there's so many different exercise regimes out there. Whether you're a beginner, you want to do a circuit, whether you're a beginner, beyond beginner like I was, I had to walk around the clothesline for 5 minutes. That's all I could do. And as each day went by, I would add an extra minute. So my workout started off with 5 minutes. And then I went inside. And then the next day I did 6 minutes and then went inside. So, that question remains for me, how long should my workout be? Well, I did 5-6 minutes and I worked my way up. But if you're one that's really advanced and you wanted to do a hard, high intensity workout, now I'll give you an example when I say that. I sometimes do this myself on the floor when I'm on my own. My workout, it's interval training. I really love interval training. I'm slowly doing it with some of my intermediate clients, where I get them to, during our PT sessions, where I get them, we start off with 1 minute of walk, 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk, 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk. We do about 5 to 10 minutes of that. Okay, now slowly these same people are now moving up and getting advanced. So now they're actually doing it, we're doing it really short and fast. 1 minute of walking, we got 3 minutes of jogging, 1 minute of walking, and then we start the PT. So I really enjoy interval training because the heart rate's going up, down, up, down. You burn fat quicker, you're burning more calories. So I love that way. And how I train is, for an example, I pick three things on my circuit floor, and it could be the bag, the punching bag, it could be the slam ball and a skipping rope. That's all I need. Okay, that's all I need is 3. Now I'll be doing 30 to 40 second bursts on each one, and just constantly rotate that. Okay, constantly rotate that. I could be doing 6 reps, whatever it may be, just constantly rotating it for about 15-20 minutes, and then cool down and finish. So my exercise regime can be short, sweet, to the point, high intensity, hard work. I feel like the sweat, the heart rate is all the way up there, right through for 15-20 minutes. I do not allow it to constantly come all the way down. It might just come down just that little bit, but I'm always bringing it up. Now with that sort of exercise, the best thing about it is once you finish your workout, you're actually continuing burning off between 1 to 3 hours after that workout. So, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. You've done your workout, 15-20 minutes at completely beyond hard and high intensity for 15-20 minutes, and then you're finished. I always warm down, and then I'm still burning off, calories an hour to 3 hours later. So, that question for me, how long do I work out for, is sometimes within half an hour I'm done. And that's my warming up, cooling down, and my time in the middle. But for people that are starting out, or, they're advanced or intermediate, whatever you may be, I do recommend at least 45 minutes to, I'm going to say 60 here, guys, 50 minutes. You need your heart rate to come up all the time. Work your way up slowly. Don't rush it. Nothing happens overnight. It is very, very, important to work your way up. But I hope that answered your question, Christy. How long should you work out for? Because you said 30 to 40 minutes. If I said 30, realistically, you're only working out for 20 minutes, taking away the warm up and cool down. That's only a 20-minute workout. So to me, I cannot see that, it's better than absolutely nothing. And like I said, I started off with 5 minutes. So if you're more than a beginner, like, you know, you started off like me that hasn't exercised ever, I would say 5 minutes. And then tomorrow do 6. And then the next day do 7. That's how we would work. But if you're advanced or if you're intermediate or whatever you may be, I do recommend that you do, you know, at least 40 minutes, 45 minutes. My circuits are programmed to be an hour. Mondays and Tuesdays, they're programmed to be 40 minutes, but then we do a 20 minutes activity class afterwards. So I want my members to at least work out for that hour. But thank you, Christy. That was a great question. Fantastic. Hi, Larry. How are you, hun? Okay, we got Carmen from Melbourne, from Sunbury. How come it is so hard to lose weight? Yes, how come it is so hard to lose weight? Carmen, my darling, my darling, my darling Carmen. Everything in life is hard, honey, you know, but only if we allow it to. You got to remember that. And everything in life seems to be hard because we give up before we even start. And that is really, really sad, because the thing is we always see the hard picture, then visualize the outcome of the picture. You know, I get members that sign up and actually are terrified because they sign up and they sign and they're ready to go, and I give them their folder and they look at me with this face of fear by saying, oh my God, Karen, I can't even comprehend that I need to lose 40 kilos. I can't even comprehend it. And I sit back on my chair and I'm watching them, you know, studying their body language, studying, you know, the way that they're almost sweating just by them telling me, I can't even comprehend, you know, losing 40 kilos. And I look at them and I say, I don't want you to comprehend losing 40 kilos, hon. I want you to comprehend losing your 1 kilo this week. 1 kilo this week. You know, we interpret things that are hard. We think to ourselves, oh my God, it's so hard. Everything is hard in life. You know what? It's got to be hard for you to when you get to that finish line, to actually appreciate it. You know, because if it was too easy, no one would appreciate nothing in life. So that's how I look at it. And the thing is, if it was easy, then everybody would do it. I know it's not easy. You know, and I tell members that before they even sign up. I tell them the truth. You know, the fair income truth. It is going to be hard. Are you ready to take on this journey? Because it is going to be hard work. You're gonna sweat and you're gonna cry. Believe me, because I did it. And it doesn't mean that it's, you know, it's the weight loss journey that it's going to be hard. Any success that you want to achieve is going to be hard. Whether you're studying to become a lawyer, whether you're studying to become a teacher, regardless. Any success that you are fighting for is going to be hard. That's why a lot of people don't succeed. And people look up to people that do succeed because they actually turn around and think, you know what? She made it. And that would have been a hard journey for her to make it. But she made it. That's why people that succeed stand out. Is because they've known how hard their journey was. And people understand that. So, you know, Carmen, you got to understand that, honey, that, you know, this is a motto that I always tell my members. Success will never come knocking on your door. You are the one that's got to get up and make success happen. Because believe me, success doesn't come knocking on your door. You are the one that's got to make it happen. So, you know, always remember that, yeah, it is going to be hard, but nothing's easy. Because if it was easy, guys, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. Everybody. So remember that, Carmen, nothing's easy, hun, but if you change that mindset, it will become easy. Because you become a fighter and you chase what you want. You fight for what you believe in. If you want it, go and get it, because no one's going to bring it to you. No one will bring it to you. You have to get up and go and get it. And believe me, it would work. So thank you, Carmen, for your question. That was awesome. Great question. Few people can relate to that. That's good. We've got Josie from Melbourne. How many apples can I eat per day? And which ones are better, Karen? The red or the green? Okay, Joyce. I recommend at least 3 apples is okay. Okay, again, if you're a diabetic and things like that, go and speak to your doctor. Please do so. But I do recommend that 3 is okay. And just remember that a medium-sized apple has actually got 95 calories. So if you're eating 3, you're tipping close to the 300 calorie mark. So, just remember that, keep that in mind. Now, I recommend, me personally, I enjoy green apples more than red, even though the red ones are a little bit, they're juicier, and the green apples are sour. But you got to remember that green apples, are healthier because they do have less sugar in them, but they're very high in energy. Okay, they're also, green apples are anti-aging, girls. Hey, girlfriends, you listening to this? Hey, girlfriends out there, you listening? Anti-aging. That's what green apples do. They're great for your skin. Very good. They've also got they're higher in fiber. Okay, and they also lower cholesterol. And there's a little thing that once I remember my doctor telling me, because every question that I'm not sure about, guys, I've been doing this for 17 years, my poor doctor, but I write it down and I make an appointment with my doctor every 3 to 4 weeks, and I take in people's questions so he can help me answer them in a doctor's professional way. But, the doctor once told me that green apples also help on, if you're on a boat and you're feeling seasick, if you have a piece of green apple, it'll actually calm your stomach down. And my son's girlfriend, Lisa, actually went through this, and she ate green apple on the boat, and it stopped her from being sick. So that's something else green apples are really good for. But they've got more vitamins in the skin of a green apple than a red as well. So, with green apples, they are really bitter. But if you don't enjoy that really bitter taste, maybe you can put them in a smoothie. Make a shake up, and you won't taste that bitter taste in them as much. But they are very, very good. They are great. Good. I want to give you a tip, guys, with apples, regardless which apple you may go with, but it's a really good tip. If you can have an apple about 20 minutes to half an hour before your main meals, and 1 or 2 glasses of water, it'll actually make you feel full before, it'll make you feel, I'm not going to say full, but slowly, a little bit full before you sit down and have your main meal. So you're not as hungry and starving, and you're not taking in extra food, because that apple and that 1 or 2 glasses of water before your meal would have satisfied your hunger just that little bit. So great question, Joycey. Thank you. Thank you. We're almost out of time again. Okay, people are still writing in questions, guys. They're still coming through. Like I said, if anybody wants to go back, this will be on my news feed. As soon as I finish recording, it'll automatically go on my news feed. And type in a question for next week, guys. So they're constantly coming through. Okay, we've got Manuela here. Now, I'm sorry, she didn't write where she was from, where she's from, so I can't say. But she's asked, how can I discipline myself to staying healthy in this cold weather? Great question. Very good question. Okay, I'm going to answer this not in so much as a format. I'm going to answer it more as like give you, tips, ideas of how you can stay motivated and discipline yourself, stay motivated over the cold weather. You got to keep reminding yourself of the real reason why you want to change. Why you want to become healthier and want to lose weight to begin with. Because I think once you constantly remind yourself all the time, you're going to visualize where you want to go. So that's going to help you to get motivated, regardless if it's, winter, summer, spring, autumn, whatever it may be. So, you've got to constantly remind yourself of why you want to make this commitment and how serious you want to take it. Turn off the heater at home in the morning, honey. Whether it's, if you're a stay-at-home mother or person and, you're at home, get up, turn off that heater. You don't need a heater. Don't put it on, okay? If you're one that works and you go home to prepare dinner before you go to the gym, don't have that heater blasting, okay? Don't get comfortable and work with your runners. Okay, work with your runners. Don't put your bed slippers on, or you come home from work and you change into your pajamas and comfortable clothes. Because if you're hearing that rain, you've got the heater blurring at home, it is going to be hard to discipline yourself. So you've got to try to take steps a little bit, where you're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable and think, what, I am a little bit cold, I might as well go out anyway. So that's a good tip. Set yourself a routine, a regime of, everyday living. For an example, you've got to put in your exercise in your everyday routine, because if you don't, you always make an excuse not to go. So, you've got to take that very, very serious. So rain, hail or shine, if you're one that goes to work, you will get up to go to work. If it's raining, if it's 2 degrees, if it's 40 degrees, you got to go to work. So you've got to commit to yourself, kind of like on that note, with your exercise, okay? With your exercise. And I believe in this one, I mentioned it already, but dress the part. Dress the part. If you're a stay-at-home person, don't go spending the days in your pajamas. Get up, put your runners on, put your tracksuits on, even if you're not going to the gym until mid-afternoon. Dress the part. It is very, very important, okay? Because, the second you get up and you put your slippers on, you're in that comfortable zone, it's really hard not to, to snap out of it. What else have we got here? Aim to maybe participate in a walkathon or a runathon that's going to be, done in, say, 3 months. So you need the next 3 months to train for it. This is a really good idea, guys, really good idea. Over winter, if there's a spring walkathon or a runathon, train for it during winter. So, that'll keep you motivated and disciplined to stay healthy over the cold months of winter. So that way you're training for, say, September, October for that walkathon or that runathon. So that's a really good point. Okay, and I believe that you should always take advantage of the cold weather, because it's the cold weather that is actually the best time to work out in, because you're cold for 5 to 10 minutes until you walk into a gym or until you get from the house into the car. But within 5 to 10 minutes, I see members here taking off their jackets, only 5 to 10 minutes into their exercise, and they're starting to sweat. Now, you know, what are you going to do when it comes to, you know, 38 degrees and 40 degrees in summer? You're gonna do that. You're going to actually be worse. So, you know, take advantage of winter. Winter is the best time to actually lose weight. It's the winter that makes those summer, I don't know, bodies, if you want to call it, you know, get ready for summer. So just think how much you could lose, you know, nearly 15, 20 kilos over winter, and you're going to be lighter in summer. So have a think about that, guys. So I hope that answered your question, Manuela. I'm sorry, I don't know where you're from, hun. You didn't write it down here. But they were great questions. And you're not going to believe it, guys. It's 10:30 again. Again. How quick did this hour go? But thank you so, so much for your questions. They're getting better and better as each week goes by. Please keep them coming through. Any questions that were asked tonight, they will be answered next week. And I'm going to try to answer some online next week live. So fingers crossed that we don't get too bombarded, and I'll be able to read them good. But thank you once again, guys. Keep those questions coming through. Every question that you ask, you are helping a person out there. So thank you for your support. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all next Tuesday. Thank you. Good night.